So everybody, today we want to talk about multiplication and division of logarithm. So we say multiplication and division of logarithm. So remember in our two previous videos we talked about law of indices, all right? And our last video we introduced logarithm and we talked about two parts of logarithm, which is the characteristic and the mantissa value of logarithm. So, and in the law of indices, we talked about things like when a number have the same base and they are multiplying each other, what you do is to simply add up their indices, and this will give you a raised to the power of 5, okay? Let's say you want to divide them, and what do? We said you have to minus their indices, and it will give you a raised to the power 1, okay? So this also works with logarithm, since logarithm works with bases, the same base. That is why you have log to base 2, things like log to base 10, okay? So you are going to express every logarithm to a particular base so that it will now give you the audacity to either add or subtract their indices, all right? So having said this, we may want to go straight. All right, one more thing. In this video, and we may want to replace log 10 with log, okay? So this is a common logarithm. So any place in this video that you see log, we are talking about log 10, okay? So your log table are configured on the base of 10. So we may want to move ahead to solve some questions to make these things clearer to us. So we have question 76.9 multiplied by 308.2 all divided by 8.04. Okay, so what you're gonna do is to create a table of number and log. Okay, so this table, you are going to put the numbers here. 76.9. all right, this is the first number. So we got to find the logarithm of this number, and before we do that, remember we said we convert it to a standard form. So we move this decimal point to this place, and the standard point value is 1. So we write 1, which is also the characteristic value of the logarithm, and we are going to combine this characteristic value with the mantissa value. Remember we said that characteristic value plus the mantissa value gives you the full logarithm of a number, okay? So the mantissa value is the one you get from your logarithm table. So you may have to look up to log 76 under 9. So we have 0 0.8848, okay? So if you combine these two numbers, you're going to get 1.8848, okay? So the second number here is 308.2, right? So we're going to convert it to standard form. You move it 1, 2 places, so you have a characteristic of 2. You're going to combine it with the mantissa value. Look for log 30 under 8 difference 2. So you have 0 0.489. So if you combine these two, you're going to get 2.4889. And because these two numbers in the numerator here are multiplying each other, so you have to add their indices. So if you add these indices, what you get will be 4.37. You may want to add it on your own and get the value by yourself. So we may have to go to the last value here, which is 8.04. This one is the value in the denominator here. So you want to get its logarithm. The logarithm is already in standard form, so you are not moving the decimal point to anywhere, so it has a characteristic value of 0 plus the mantissa value. You look for log 80 under 4. So what you have as the mantissa value is 0.9053. Okay, so in this case, if you combine these two, it will still give you 0.9053. Okay, so because they are dividing each other, so you have to minus it, minus the number, the indices. So 7 minus 3 will give you 4. 13 minus 5 is going to give you 8, and this one is remaining 6 minus 0 is going to give you 6, right? And this is 13 minus 9 is giving you 4, and this one is remaining 3 minus 0, so 3. So what you're going to do is that you will now have to look for the anti-logarithm of this number. So you will look for the anti-logarithm of the mantissa value. Remember, it is the mantissa value that you are concerned with while you're working with logarithm with a table. So you look for the anti-logarithm of the mantissa values. Then look for anti-log of 46 under 8 difference 4. You are going to get 2941. Okay, so because what are we going to do with the characteristic value here, which is 3? So characteristic value is used to determine where the decimal point is supposed to be. So you are going to move the decimal point from a supposedly standard point. Because it's a positive sign, you move it to the right. For supposedly standard point is point here, so you have to move it 3 points to the right. 1, 2, 3. So this number here is the answer to this question here. All right, so we may have to do some other examples to establish these facts. Let's try another question, the one that involves numbers that are less than 1. We have 0.7685, right, times 0.03415. Okay, so these numbers, if you look, they are irrational numbers, and you can't just find the answer by simply multiplying them because they contain decimal points. So you may have to convert them into logarithms. So like we had done before, you have to create a table of number and the log. So in this table, you're going to write down the numbers here: 0.7685. Right, so you want to find the logarithm of this number, and if you convert this to standard point, you'll have -1. In this case, we write it as bar 1. Okay, so plus the mantissa value. If you have 76 under 8 difference 5, you're going to get 0.8857. Okay, so if you combine the two, it will give you about 1.8857. If you noticed, if we combine these two, the negative sign of bar 1 did not affect the negative sign of this characteristic value did not affect this one. Okay, so they are going to exist separately. Okay, so you may want to look for the second number, which is 0.03415. Okay, so if you look at this, want to convert it to standard form, you have to move it 1 0. Okay, 1 and the 2, right? So you have a characteristic of bar 2, and if you want to add this, with the mantissa value, so you have to look for 34 log 34 under 1 difference 5. It will give you 0.5334. So if you combine these numbers, you will have about 2.5334. Okay, so because you are multiplying the numbers, you add their indices. All right, and when you've added their indices, you're gonna get 7 plus 4 is 11. You write 1, carry 1. 5 plus 3 is 8. You write 9 plus 1, 9. 8 plus 3 is what is it, 12. So you write 2, carry 1. Call this 9 plus 5. You have 14. Right? You write 4, carry 1. Now you look at what happens to the one you are carrying because it is landing at a negative 1. So it has to be 1 minus 1, which is 0. So you'll be left with minus 2. Okay, so about 2. So you will have to find the let's make this line straighter so that it can accommodate what we want to draw. All right, so you will have to find the anti-logarithm of this number. So if you go to your anti-logarithm table, you have anti-log 42 under 9 difference 1. It will give you 2, 6, 2, 5. Okay, so it will give you this answer. So what are you going to do with the characteristic value? Remember, we just got the anti-logarithm of this number using the mantissa value here. So what are we going to do with bar 2? We use the characteristic value to denote where the decimal point is going to be, and because it is minus 2, it is going to be 2 zeros before the number, so you have 2.026. So this is the answer to this question. We may want to go on solving other questions to establish this inside our memories. So we may have to attempt another question that involves division. So 0.7685 divide by 341.5. All right, like we always do, we put number and the log here. So when you solve the first number, you have to write it down here. Okay, so if you want to convert this to standard form, you're going to move it one place. Okay, so you have bar 1 plus, you look for the mantissa value, which is find the log of 76 under 8 difference 5. You're going to get 0.8857. Okay, so if you combine these two numbers, you have about 1.8857, right? So the second number is 341.5. So to make it a standard form, 1, 2. So this is 2. Remember, we are moving to the left, so it is a positive. So the easiest way to know a number that is going to give you a negative bar and a positive bar, if you look at the number, if it has a 0 before the actual decimal point, know that it is going to give you a negative bar. But if it has the decimal point with some integers before it, it's going to give you a positive characteristic value. So you have to add this to the mantissa value. You look for log 34 under 1 difference 5, and you're going to get 0.5334. Okay, if you add the difference, everything together, if you add the characteristic and the mantissa value, is going to give you 2.5334. So because you are dividing these numbers, you have to minus their indices. So if you minus their indices, 7 minus 4 will give you 3, 5 minus 3 will give you 2, 8 minus 3 will give you 5, 8 minus 5 will give you 3. Now listen very carefully. Minus 1 minus 2 will give you minus 3. Okay, so if you want to get the numbers back, you have to find the anti-logarithm of this number. So you find the anti-logarithm of this mantissa number. Here you have anti-logarithm of 35 under 2 difference 3. If you add them together, you're going to get 2251. Okay, 2251, and you have about three characteristic here. Okay, so what you're going to do with this, use it to determine the place where the decimal point will be. So since it is a -3, it means that decimal points is going to come before the numbers, three places before the numbers. So you have to put 3 zeros before the number. So it becomes, this is the answer to this question, right? So you may like to subscribe to our YouTube channel and the like of Facebook page to watch more videos. Share also this video to people who need to understand what we are talking about. Thank you.